When I first arrived in the parish 11 years ago, there were a lot of blessings, but some frustrations. There wasn't much focus on Jesus, very few confessions. There's a feeling of going through the motions. There was a feeling of I wasn't ordained just to do this. And also a deep sense, actually I love these people, not as much as Jesus does. He's so good, but I wanted so much more for them.
I've been a parishioner for about 16 years, and we really came to St. Anthony's because we wanted our son to be at the school across the way. So we joined, and this was a very different parish 16 years ago. In fact, looking back, I would say this was a parish on life support.
We got to a point in 2016 where I said, I don't know what to do next. I needed advice. And I was really touched by Father James Mallon's book. It just gave us so much momentum to grow, to be more bold.
You know, I hadn't even been a regular volunteer at that point. I started to get involved in very small little projects. And then one day, Father decided to put together a senior leadership team. So we read the book by Father James Mallon as a team, a leadership team, and we actually put a lot of those concepts into place. We focused on the hospitality, the weekend mass experience. You know, we recruited amongst our parishioners, we invited them to be part of the mission. We focused on the music, and most of all, and I think this is probably really key, is Father Justin really focused on his preaching, his homily, because we know that that is actually what really speaks to people.
The first time I really got to know Jesus was, when I was a kid. I grew up in what we call the projects, or BC housing, which is social housing. And essentially, there was a couple churches across the street from our projects. And at the age of 5 and 6, I would literally go across the street, run across the street, and just enjoy being there. I started work at a very young age, and I was hanging out with the wrong people in the wrong crowds, getting into trouble and stuff. I think I was 19 when I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to, start anew. And so I went to Mass one day, and essentially the priest was doing confessions. And I'm just, I wanted to start fresh. So I went into the confession box and didn't know what to say. And he essentially, poured my heart out. And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, "You're not Catholic, you don't belong here. You're not supposed to be in here." And that's all I needed to hear. You know, 15 years go by. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we were together for 10 years. I proposed to her, and we both decided that we should go down this journey of faith. And so her godmother introduced us to Father Justin's homilies online, and they really resonated. They really got to the heart and really answered a lot of questions. Once we ran out of homilies, okay, well, I guess we got to go to like in real life. And so we started going to St. Anthony's, and started coming here. And we were the type of parishioners in the beginning where as soon as Mass was over, we're out the door, just beeline straight out. But here at St. Anthony's, it's not easy to do that. I would say Alpha was kind of that next step, first being open to going down a journey to get to know God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. But Alpha really was a place where we can ask the questions, and just so many blessings happen through Alpha, like getting to know people, my wife getting to know people because we did Alpha together. But it's just been amazing. We've created a whole new family, a community.
When people smiled back at you, when they brought their friends, we knew something was working. So we went from this really sleepy parish to all of a sudden being, on fire. Now, I say all of a sudden a little bit too loosely, but in a parish that's celebrating 100 years is kind of all of a sudden, right? It isn't, decades.
When you have students in your elementary school talking about whether or not they've made Jesus the center of their life or not, that means the whole parish culture is changing. It's so exciting when a priest's heart is changed and he not only has the hunger and the grace and the tools to cooperate with the Holy Spirit to move his parish forward, then the whole community is changed.
Now, like, we're spending 30, 45 minutes after Mass, and yeah, it's just been such a change and such a gift, for sure. Life has changed. My whole life, like, day and night, like 180. Some people don't recognize me looking at me.
Now, when many different parishes are changed and the whole church changes, and then, that is so beautiful, the thought that the whole church throughout the world could almost speak a similar language of love for Jesus, love for neighbor, and evangelization, I think, is the greatest act of love for neighbor. So I just want to say, to see parishes transformed is so exciting.